a few of the farmers worked up there.
Yep.
Right.
And they made good money.
We partied out there. It was the go-to spot, especially.
And there isn't hardly a day in the summer where there isn't somebody drives up there.
Just the size of it, and it was out in the middle of nowhere, so it was just kind of this anomaly on the plains.
Just outside of Conrad. Conrad's a town of a little less than 3,000 people, I think 2,900 or so. One grocery store, 2 gas stations, 3 bars, 4 or 5 churches. I was born and raised in Conrad, and as anyone in Conrad could tell you, we've got a rather strange landmark just outside of town.
We were married in 75, moved up here in 76, but my wife was in high school.
That's about the time we found out, 69.
Just kind of
She graduated in 71, so she was
My dad was irritated.
adamantly against. Well, it took 240 acres right out of the center of a average sized farm, and at that time it was average. It'd be small in today's standards, because the farms have gotten quite a bit larger.
As it is now, what do you think should be done with that building, if anything?
Oh, the last time I was out there was a couple of years ago, and it was actually starting to deteriorate and look a lot different than what it was when I was younger and going out there and partying and having a good old time. And I don't know what you would do with it, but I would like to see it protected in some way. I mean, I don't think you can fence it off and keep people out of there. That's almost a rite of passage around our country, is to go hang out at that place.
This is one of the things we did for entertainment. I didn't drink or really party in high school. I'd go to parties, but didn't drink anything, so I didn't go to any keggers or anything out there, but we'd definitely go out there and spray paint some stuff on the walls.
I really don't mind the graffiti as long as it's not so vulgar, and yeah, I mean, it'd still be nice to take your grandparents out there sometime or something like that, And,
when you guys were first going out there, had it already started to be tagged, where people were already spray painting it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was full. Most of it was obscene, your typical stupid graffiti stuff.
Did you guys have like a pretty good idea of what it was?
I guess I didn't realize it was a radar station or whatever, we just knew it was a Air Force base. I don't think this is quite true, but I mean, everybody said it was supposed to take, be able to take an indirect hit from a nuclear missile.
It was in high school probably, maybe even junior high. Started talking to my folks about it, different people, and just found out that it was a perimeter acquisition radar or something, basically to detect warheads coming over from Russia.
PAR, or Perimeter Acquisition Radar, was an early warning radar system meant for detecting Soviet nuclear missiles before they ever touched ground. In the late 1960s to the early 1970s, there were 2 of these sites set to be constructed, one here and one in North Dakota. Construction on this one began in 1970 and ceased in 1972 when the Strategic Arms Limitation talks came to the conclusion that the United States only required one site of these capabilities. And because the North Dakota site was closer to completion, it was decided to stop construction on the Montana site altogether.
Kind of a typical government job where it's a lot of waste.
From what I understand though, I think we signed an arms treaty or something, but it always seems strange to pump that much money into something and then just walk away from it.
Some articles have called it a museum of government folly.
Right, yeah.
Was that kind of your guys's like?
Yeah, it was once I get into high school, it was the $1 million F up at that point, and yeah, a lot of perfect like government bureaucracy.
Well, no, actually, I remember the first time driving out there, going out to the lake probably, and seeing that big concrete building and wondering what the heck it was, and asking a few people, and then finally just getting up the nerve to go out there and just see it.
It was probably on my own with some buddies when I was in high school. We had a driver's license, so we would go cruise around that east part of Conrad looking for abandoned places to dig around in and try not to get in too much trouble.
Why do you think so many people went there? I guess if you had a barn, why would you just party in your barn?
Just the mystique of it.
Yeah, the sheer size, the thick walls, the giant rebar. The graffiti was always entertaining, and lots of little nooks and crannies and weird little rooms.
The concrete walls and how heavy it was. Always the mystique around the Air Force Base, the hidden rooms, the parts you couldn't get to and all that. There was always speculation of what was there.
After speaking to 3 generations of locals from my hometown, I've learned that although this building was a huge waste of taxpayer dollars, it's become something more. It's become part of the culture. As my dad said, it's basically a rite of passage to visit it. Not just in Conrad, but Shelby and Chester as well. The building has something like a community built around it, and to me, things like that are important.